As we continue our theme of choosing hope over fear, I want to share with you today a passage that has become more and more a favorite of mine the older I get. And it's from Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verses 16 to 18. And while verse 16 is our verse for today, I want to read you all three verses. Paul writes, "So we do not lose heart. Even though our outer nature is wasting away, our inner nature is being renewed day by day. For this slight, momentary affliction is preparing us for an eternal weight of glory beyond all measure, because we look not at what can be seen, but at what cannot be seen. For what can be seen is temporary, but what cannot be seen is eternal." There's several reasons why this passage to me is an important one about hope. First of all, Paul begins by saying, "So we do not lose heart." And if you look back at what leads up to that, if you go back to verse 1 of chapter 4, Paul says, "Therefore, since it is by God's mercy that we are engaged in this ministry, we do not lose heart." So between verse 1 and verse 16, with that repetition of "so we do not lose heart," it tells us two things. First of all, it's very possible and it's sometimes almost easy to lose heart and to lose hope and to feel like giving up. And tragically, we see people do that in this life far too often. And in between those two statements, Paul lists all the challenges and afflictions and trials that they've gone through. He talks about how we have this treasure in clay jars, and we're afflicted in every way but not crushed, perplexed but not driven to despair, persecuted but not forsaken, struck down but not destroyed. He's gone through, he's been beaten, he's been whipped, he's been driven out of town, he's been thrown in jail, and he doesn't lose heart. And he mentions basically the process of physical decay and aging. Our outer nature is wasting away. All I have to do is look in a mirror, and I know that's true. Every day of my life, my outer nature is wasting away, no matter how much you try to take care of yourself, to sleep and eat well and exercise. There's only so much we can do. But our inner nature can be renewed day by day. Physically, we may not be the same at 60 or 80 or 90 as we were when we were younger, but spiritually, we can grow stronger and healthier and more mature the longer we live, so long as we do what Paul did. And what did Paul do? He didn't look at what can be seen. He didn't look at the physical, the material, the temporal. He looked at the eternal, because that is what lasts. So when you find yourself struggling, especially with some physical challenge or just some of the things that come to us with aging, Paul describes these things as a slight momentary affliction. It probably doesn't feel that way for you or for me when we're going through it. But compared to how long eternity is, it is. So keep your eyes fixed on what is eternal, and it will help you get through those challenging seasons. Do not lose heart.